Hey, welcome back. We're doing the quadratic formula today, which is awesome because it works for literally any quadratic that's in standard form. So before we did standard form to solve by factoring, but I told you we could only do it if there is no value in front. And then we did it with with vertex form with parentheses around it and a squared outside. And that kind of only also works if there's no value in front. It kind of does. We figured it out. But in this case, if there's an a in front and it already kind of looks like this, we can use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is why I need TikTok, you guys. So that's the quadratic formula song. That's the Pop Goes the Weasel version. But on the main site, on the, I don't know what it's called, the lesson page, I have two links. One of them's my favorite one. Another one's kind of like that. So if you need to listen to the quadratic formula song over and over again to remember it, do that. But yeah, just use your notes, you guys. Read your directions. This looks like a fish. All right, we're gonna do 2 examples today. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't have enough examples, I made more examples, so check the notes. There's 3 other examples. So I did 5 total quadratic formulas. And I'm only expecting you to do 4. 3 for the homework and 1 for the exit ticket. So you're welcome. Let's do the first example. Here it is. Magic. I'm going to do 2 examples and they're going to be like split like this. So I just drew a line straight down, all the way down. If you're an Avid, you'll need some space in the bottom for your summary. That's what it's called. I'm going to use oranges. I haven't used that yet. I'm going to move this 5 over here because I don't want it. I need it to equal 0. That's what the original equation says. And so if I move the 5 over, I get x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. And then I can identify my a, b, and c. In this case, if there is no a value, we use 1. If there is no b value, we use 1, but it's negative 3 in this case. And if there's no c value, we use we use 0. I can do this, I promise. If there's no b value, but there is no x as well, then b is 0. So that could be one or the other. Wow. So this is my quadratic formula setup. So I have a equals 1 because there's no number there. B is negative 3 from in front of the x, and c is negative 5. Notice that a is always in front of x squared, b is always in front of x, and c doesn't have an x by it. That's important. So let's do that. Let's do this. So we're going to do negative b. So I'm going to do negative 3 plus and minus the square root of b squared. It's negative 3 squared. Now, if you do negative 3 squared in a calculator, to tell you it's negative 9, and it's not. So we have to put parentheses around this. And then we're going to do minus 4 times 1 times negative 5. Oof, I almost ran out of room right there. And that's all over 2 times a, which is 1. And that's what x equals. Am I done? Heck no, I'm not. Let's clean it up. Okay, so we're going to go step by step. So negative 3 is the same thing as a positive 3. I'm going to put the square root symbol back. A negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which is a positive 9. And then negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, times negative 5 is positive 20. So plus 20. Well, I just did the math in my head. Have you ever done that where you're like, okay, well, 9 plus 20 is going to be 29, and you just write down what your mind's thinking instead of what you're actually supposed to be writing down? Yeah, me too. We're not alone. Hey. Okay, so x equals, I'm going to do this math right here. By the way, if you got 9 minus 20, it's because you did 4 times 1 times negative 5 and then made that a negative, and then it was still a negative, and you forgot to make it positive. How dare you? So I have 3 plus and minus square root of 29 over 2. Now, if I go over to that site, ta-da, that does square roots, and I ask it so nicely what the square root of 29 is, you know what it's going to say? It's going to say it's nothing. It does the square root of 29. So in this specific instance, I am done. X does equal 3 plus or minus the square root of 29 over 2. I pointed at it, but you couldn't see it. 3 plus or minus the square root of 29 over 2. That is a complete and happy answer. If the question says to round to the nearest thousandth or hundredth or whatever. We would actually use that 5.38 that it says it is in there. So I would do 3 plus or minus 5.28. If it said thousandth, I want one more decimal place. So 28, oh shoot, it says 38, 385. So thousand has 3 zeros. Thousandth has 3 numbers. Hundredth has 2 zeros. Hundred has 2 zeros. Hundredth has 2 numbers. I don't know why they did that. All over 2. And I would just do that really quick. And I would get 4.193 and negative 1.193. So if it says to round to the nearest, whatever, you want to do that. Otherwise, this is the best form of the answer. And I'm not being, let's see, I'm not being sassy that it's my favorite. It's just, this is the more complete answer, because if I do this in a calculator, I can find any decimal place I want. So that's why we do that. All right, you're good if you're good. Like if you get this and you remember everything and you want to move forward with your life, go for it. I'm going to do one more example with I that pops up. So if you want to, you can try this problem. And if you get 1 plus or minus 3i root 3 over 7, you're good to go. Peace out. See you later. If you want to know how the heck I got that, stick around. I'll do it with you. All right, we're going to start the same way by moving that 2x over to the other side. I'm going to stick it right where it belongs. Could I also have moved the 7 and the 4 over? Yeah, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the quadratic formula. We're going to do ABC. So A equals negative 7, B equals 2, C equals negative 4. I almost messed up on that. Can't white out that because my pen won't write on it. So I go negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac times negative 7 times negative 4. That's why we pause. All over 2a. There it is. You guys wouldn't normally get that in class. Normally I would just not sing to you. I'd be so embarrassed. All right, so 2 squared is 4. And then I'm going to do negative 4 times negative 7 times negative 4, which I don't know off the top of my head. Let me find out. Negative 4 times negative 7 times negative 4 is negative 112. So minus 112. All over negative 14. Okay, and then I have to do 4 minus 112. So I get x equals negative 2 plus and minus, let's see, square root of 4 minus 112 would be negative 108. All over negative 14. Okay, now here's where these two worlds collide. We know that we can't do the square root of negative 108, or at least that everybody has told us that in the past. But I could do the square root of positive 108, like this. So if I press go, I get 6 square roots of 3. Okay. All right. So negative 108. So because 108 was 6 square roots of 3, then negative 108 is going to be plus and minus 6i square roots of 3. 6 root 3 because of the square root of 108. I because it was negative. That's all. Okay. And then I'm going to do one whole more step. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll do 1 or 2. So, okay, ignoring the I and the 3. I don't care about this stuff in the parentheses at this step. Or in the square root, sorry. Ignoring that, 2 and 6 and 14 can all be divided by 2. Even better, Negative here and negative here means I probably want to divide by a -2. So what I get is I get +1 plus and minus. It's going to be 3, and I'll tell you why in a second. Over 7. Okay, here's why it's +3 and not -3. If I add a positive and I subtract a positive, I'll get the same numbers if I added a negative and added a positive. Or subtracted a negative. Added a negative and subtracted a negative. Because they kind of cancel each other out. So basically what I would be doing is I would just be doing 1, if this was out without the other stuff, it'd be like 1 plus 3 over 7 and 1 minus 3 over 7. I would get the same answer if I did 1 plus -3 over 7 and 1 minus -3 over 7. Because plus and minus is the same thing as minus and plus. If that confused you, don't worry about it. Just, you can, if these are both negative, you can make both of these positive. Don't worry about the other number. I'm going to reiterate though, that like back here, people try so hard back here to divide all of this by 2 because you can, but you can't because this is inside the square root, so you can't do it. You have to wait until you have something in front to be able to divide, to clean it up. Have got to. Okay. Again, if you need more examples, click on that big old button that says more examples right underneath where you found this video. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Okay, bye.